Hello, today my partner Valeria Sansores and I are going to present our activity design 6 based on the content-based instruction method.
The description of the method. It refers to an approach to second language teaching in which teaching is organized around the content of information that a student will acquire rather than around a linguistic or other type of syllabus. According to Britton, within this method, content is the point of departure or organizing principle of the course.
Now talking about the approach, content-based instruction is grounded on the following two central principles. The first one states that people learn a second language more successfully when they use language as a means of acquiring information rather than as an end in itself. And this principle reflects one of the motivations for CBI that basically indicates that it leads to a more effective language learning. Now, the second principle says that content-based instruction better reflects learners' need for learning a second language, which basically just states that many content-based programs serve to prepare ESL students for academic studies or for mainstreaming. Now, my partner and I are going to talk about the design. First, we have the objective of the method and activity design. And talking about the method, the objectives in a typical CBI course are stated as objectives of the content course that basically just seek for the students to activate and develop existing English language skills or to acquire learning skills and strategies that could be applied in future language development opportunities or to develop in general academic skills applicable to university studies in subject areas.
The objective of our activity is the learning and practice of the use of modal verbs implicitly through content related to a topic of common interest. Choice of subject matter and linguistic matter. Subject matter of our activity. Through an exercise of filling in the blank spaces in sentences related to a topic called caring for the environment, the student will be able to put into practice the use of modal verbs. Now we have the linguistic matter of our activity. The correct use of modal verbs will be implicitly taught. On the other hand, it will make students aware of a relevant topic. Learning tasks and teaching activities of our activity. In our activity design, the teacher will present a short video which contains information related to the topic, with the aim that the students have a first approach of a relevant real-life content. Then, the teacher will present a series of sentences which will be completed with the correct modal verbs by the students. The learner will put into practice the information learned about the content and the use of modal verbs. To finish, the teacher will review the students' answers and give a small feedback on what has been learned.
Now, talking about the role of learners, CBI is in a learning by doing school of pedagogy, and this assumes an active role by learners in several dimensions. They are expected to be active interpreters of input, willing to tolerate uncertainty along the path of learning, willing to explore alternative learning strategies, and willing to seek multiple interpretation or oral and written text. Learners themselves might be sources of content and joint participants in the selection of topics and activities.
The role of the learners in our activity. The student will play an active role in carrying out the activity. The content, being a topic of social interest, will motivate and commit the student to participate in class. Consequently, the grammatical topics taught implicitly within the content will be learned more easily.
Now, talking about the role of the teacher, CBI anticipates a change in the typical roles of language teachers. According to Stryker and Lever in 1993, instructors must be more than just good language teachers. They must be knowledgeable in the subject matter and able to elicit that knowledge from their students. At a more detailed level, teachers are responsible for selecting and adapting authentic materials for use in class. They need to take into account the students' needs, and by this, they need to create a truly learner-centered classroom.
The role of the teacher in our activity. The teacher will have to choose a topic of interest for her student. In the same way, the teacher is in charge of adapting the content according to the needs and the context of the learner. Specifically speaking of our activity, the teacher chooses a topic that is part of the daily life of the student, and therefore the learner will be committed and motivated to participate in the activity.
Now, talking about the role of instructional materials, in CBI, the materials that facilitate language learning are the materials that are used typically with the subject matter of the content course. Therefore, according to Brinton in 1989, CBI courses are often characterized by a heavy use of instructional media, which can be videotapes or audio tapes, to further enrich the context provided by authentic readings selected to form the core of the thematic unit.
The role of instructional materials in our activity. Videos will be used as a visual material, with the aim that the students visualize the actions they should do to take care of the environment. In the same way, images will be used to illustrate the meaning of the modal verbs and facilitate their understanding.
Now, talking about the age and level of the student is 19 years old and has an English level A2 in the Common European Framework of Reference. Now, we are going to start with our activity, and I am going to be the teacher, and my partner, Valeria Sansores, is going to be my student. Hello, Valeria.
Hello, teacher. Good morning.
Today, we are going to watch a video related to an important topic that is taking care of the environment. So please pay attention to the video and take notes if necessary. So this was the end of the video, and now that we have watched it, we are going to move to the following activity. So here we have the activity, and you have to complete the sentences with should or shouldn't do to save the environment. You need to base your answers on what you saw previously in the video. So first we have, we blank space use reusable bottles of water. What is the answer, should or shouldn't?
I think the correct answer is should.
So let's check if you are correct. And yes, the answer is should, because we previously saw in the video that we need to avoid using plastic bottles because they create a lot of trash. Now moving to the second sentence, it says, we leave the charges plugged to the electricity. What do you think?
I think we shouldn't leave the charges plugged to the electricity.
So let's check your answer. And yes, the answer is we shouldn't leave the charges plugged to the electricity because they waste a lot of energy. Finally, we have the third sentence that says, we use Canva tote bags for our groceries. What do you think is the answer?
I think that the correct answer is we should use canvas tote bags for our groceries.
So let's check if you are correct. And yes, in fact, we should use canvas tote bags for our groceries, because with that we prevent the use of plastic bags that, as I previously mentioned, create a lot of trash in the world. So this is the end of the class, and thank you for your participation, Valeria. I can see that due to your correct answers that you understood the video and that you paid attention to it. So congratulations, you did a great job.
Thank you, teacher. See you in the next class.
So we have reached to the end of our activity design, and thanks to the nature of the content presented by the teacher, the student was able to put into practice the use of modal verbs, as well as the use of her communicative skills. And in turn, the learner during the whole class was participative and shared her thoughts about the topic due to the interest she has on it.
Here we have our references if you want to look out for more information about the method that we have reviewed. And that will be everything for our part. Thank you for your attention.